Hi everyone. Fresh new video for you. It's fresh, right? So, your test is coming up on exponents and scientific notation. I'm not going to go over the scientific notation so much because that's relatively simple comparative to this stuff. So, I'm going to do a couple of problems. There's two of each type, so I'll do one and then you can do another one. Hopefully I get it right, because that'd be really cool, right? So, the first two problems, I'm just multiplying. Now, because there are variables in here, I need to be able to multiply the whole numbers that are in front, or the coefficients that are in front. So, on this one, I've got a 3 and I've got a 4. I can multiply those together because there are variables breaking up the exponent. So the 3 and the 4 are kind of by themselves because the exponents do not belong to those numbers. So 3 times 4 is just 12. Now, when I multiply terms with exponents, I actually add the exponents. So I've got a to the 4th, meaning I've got 4 a's here. And then I've got a to the 4th, which means I've got 4 a's there. So how many total a's do we have? And we have 8. So when I multiply terms with exponents in them, I'm going to add the exponents together. Now, here I've got b to the 2nd, which means there are 2 of them. Now this one, it doesn't have an exponent, but that means it's 1. Okay, so be careful about that. So there are 2 here, and there's 1 here, which means I have a total of 3, and that's my final answer because I can't simplify or combine any more terms. Go ahead and give this one a try and pause me. That is a 3. The light's shining right here, and that's just the number of the problem. Okay, so go ahead and pause me. You're back, okay? So let's multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Now, I don't care the letter order so much, but on the test there will be a certain letter order, and it's usually alphabetical. So let's go alphabetical. There are 4 x's here. There are 4 x's there, and there are 3 there. So I'm adding those exponent numbers together. So 4 plus 4 is 8, and 8 plus 3 is 11. There are a total of 11 x's. For the y's, remember, if it doesn't say an exponent, that's just 1. So there's 1 there, there's not even a y there, and there's 4 there, which means I have 5 total y's. My final answer there, hopefully you got that, okay? Moving on to this one. Remember when there's parentheses, I have to distribute the 4. So I'm going to distribute it to everything on the inside. I'm going to distribute it to the a squared, and I'm going to distribute it to the b to the 4th. Now this rule is, when I see parentheses, I'm going to multiply the exponent numbers. So, a to the 2nd, and there's no number in front, so I'm not going to distribute the 4 to that. A to the 2nd times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, so this is a to the 8th. B to the 4th times 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. That means there are 16 there. Final answer. Go ahead and pause me for this one. You got lucky, because I made an easy one for you. You're back. This is just 1. The answer is just 1. Just 1. Not 1 exponent, just 1, the number 1. And here's why. If I'm distributing the 0, which means I'm going to distribute it to the 2, to the x to the 4th, and to the y to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is just 1, the number 1. Well, this entire thing in parentheses is raised to the 0 power. It's just going to be 1. Now, if it was a 2, let's say this was a 2. Distribute it to the 2, to the x to the 4th, to the y to the 0. 2 squared is 4. X to the 4th times 2 is x to the 8th. Now, y to the 0 times 2 is y to the 0, which is just 1. So my final answer there would be 4x to the 8th. Okay? Let's go ahead on to a couple more. I think I only have 2 more for you because we haven't done dividing yet. Because dividing is fun. It's not really. I just kind of lied. It's not fun at all. Okay. Now, dividing is a little bit more tricky. So this one here, hopefully you can see this one. Okay. This is x to the 1st divided by 3x4, y4. Now, there's a number in front here, which is a 1. So anytime you see just the variable, put a 1 in front and a 1 at the exponent to make your life a little easier. 1 divided by 3 is just 1/3. Can't do anything there. Okay? Now, let's do the easy thing. You don't see a y up here, but you see a y down here. That means the y's got to stay down here. So let's put the y to the 4th in the denominator. Now, this is the tricky part. X to the 1st divided by x to the 4th. Well, 1 minus 4 is -3. -3, okay? But the negative exponent means that it has to stay in the denominator. So, instead of going through a whole process of trying to change it, instead of writing x to the -3rd, we're going to just put x to the 3rd down in the denominator, which we can do. Now, if this was a 4 and this was a 1, x to the 3rd would stay up here. So positive exponents stay in the numerator, negative exponents stay in the denominator. That's my final answer. Go ahead and pause me and give that one a try. I know it's a little bit more there, but I know you can do it. You're back. Okay, so 1 over 2 is just 1/2. Can't do anything there. x to the third minus x to the 0, meaning 3 minus 0, well, that's just 3, which means x to the third stays in the numerator. Y to the second minus y to the second. Oh, well, 2 minus 2 is 0, which is just 1, because y to the 0 is 1. So I don't put anything there. That's my final answer. You're welcome. So if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a remind text. Test is coming up on Wednesday. Bye.